What's better, a beautiful flowering plant or the bees, butterflies, and birds they attract? I'm sure this video of a clearwing moth feeding on Monarda fistulosa might make it tough to decide. The good news is you don't have to choose. You can have both. In this video, we'll cover all things Monarda and we'll talk about clearwing moths as well. Hello native plant lovers. I'm going to start with the basics. Monarda is commonly known as bee balm or wild bergamot, and there are a total of 17 species in North America. To find species in your area, go to bonap.org and select List Plants by Genre, then select Monarda. If needed, do a little research to find the species that best fits your needs. In the Northeast, there are two common species. The first is Monarda fistulosa, which has a lavender flower and prefers sunnier, drier locations than the red flowering variety Monarda didyma. Monarda benefits butterflies, moths, bees, hummingbirds, and seed-eating birds as well as humans who can eat the flowers and leaves of Monarda. I've not consumed Monarda, but while researching I found dozens of recipes I plan to try this summer. Here are the Monarda recipes on my list: herb butter, salad, tea, infused vinegar, wildflower jelly, tomato sauce, bee balm bread, and bee balm syrup. I had no idea I can eat this beautiful plant. I already feel bad for plotting to eat all our Monarda this summer. Fortunately, Monarda is resistant to deer and rabbits, so that leaves more leaves for me to experiment with in the kitchen. Now, before you go eating perennials that may be poisonous, let's talk about plant identification. It's easy to identify Monarda's unique flower, but how do you identify Monarda when it's not in bloom? Easy. Look for these three things. First, the stem is square, not round. Next, look at the leaves, which will grow on opposite sides of the stem. Lastly, the leaf shape will start wide at the base and will end at a point. Okay, so we all need more Monarda in our garden, but where should we plant it? In general, Monarda grows best in full sun or part shade with consistently moist soil. Conditions may vary by species, so always check the plant tag for specific growing conditions. Monarda is easily grown from seed and does not require a pre-treatment. Seeds will germinate as temperatures warm, so this is an easy plant to establish in your garden. Once planted, Monarda will spread by shallow underground rhizomes in the spring and fall, so over time they are great ground covers. Under ideal conditions, certain varieties of Monarda spread aggressively. To learn more about its behavior, let us look at a research report from Mount Cuba Center. Between 2014 and 2016, the Mount Cuba Center, located in Wilmington, Delaware, trialed 40 species of Monarda. One of their conclusions was that Monarda didyma is the most aggressive spreader, while Monarda fistulosa and Monarda bradburyana are moderate to slow spreaders. Therefore, it's best to plant Monarda next to strong, vigorous neighbors to help keep the Monarda in check. Now, we've covered seeds and design, so let's move to maintenance. The top 3 tasks on this list are required, but not annually, while the bottom 3 are completely optional. I'll go into more detail starting with watering, which will depend on the weather. Ensure your new plant gets approximately 1 inch of water weekly the first season. We also recommend watering in the summer while flowering to reduce stress and powdery mildew, which we will talk more about shortly. Pruning to remove the prior year's growth is best completed in the spring when temperatures consistently stay above 50 degrees to ensure overwintering insects are not harmed. If your Monarda is spreading too far, the ideal time to make adjustments is in the spring or fall by hand pulling the shallow rhizomes. Divide every 3 to 5 years as the center starts to die, leaving a hole. Simply transplant a mass of Monarda from the healthy growing section to the center. The last 3 are completely optional. Pinching is the act of cutting stems before flowering to keep a plant lower to the ground or to delay flowering. For Monarda, complete in May. Deadheading is the act of removing dead flowers to encourage future blooms. Timing will depend on when your plant is in bloom, which will vary by species and your location. Lastly, collect seeds 2 to 3 weeks after flowering. Gently bend the stem, and seeds that are ready will fall out and should be stored in a cool, dark location. A common disease of Monarda is powdery mildew that develops on leaves and stems. The powdery mildew fungus thrives in high humidity, poor air circulation, and temperature fluctuations like dry days and warm nights. This combination typically occurs in early to mid-summer when Monarda is stressed from producing flowers. There are 2 approaches to reduce powdery mildew. The first is to proactively thin stems in the spring to allow proper air circulation. Another way to reduce powdery mildew is to reduce stresses on the plant by ensuring it has adequate water when blooming in the summer. When watering, always direct water to the base of the plant. Lastly, when all else fails, cut infected stems to the ground. As a reminder, clean your clippers frequently to prevent the spread to other plants and discard diseased foliage in the garbage. Do not put diseased cuttings in the compost. Now that we are all growing Monarda, let's do a 1960s style Batman tribute to learn about our friend, the Clearwing Moth. There are 4 species of Clearwing Moths in the United States. Finding consistent information was difficult, so I listed the 4 species if you want to research further. They are widespread across the United States. If you would like a visit, then invite them to your home by growing their host plants, which vary by species. I was not able to track down a definite list by species, but the top entries were viburnums, snowbush, snowberry bush, honeysuckle, and dogbean. Yes, Clearwing moths are active during the day, unlike most other moths that are active at night. They also fly and move just like hummingbirds, with the ability to fly almost 30 miles per hour. Like hummingbirds, they feed while flying by unfurling their long tongues and putting them into flowers to drink the nectar. Clearwing moths overwinter in leaf litter, so the first time to see them is in the spring when they emerge. They only live for 3 to 5 weeks, so don't miss your chance to see one. After emerging, they are hungry and looking for love. Monarda fistulosa is a well-known favorite for hungry Clearwing moths. Now, you know everything I know about Monarda and Clearwing moths. Please click subscribe to be notified of new native plant videos and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and good luck growing and eating Monarda.